For our math warm-up today, we have 4 division problems with decimals. I want you to use an estimate to place the decimal. So the decimal may need to be in your quotient, or it may need to be in your dividend or your divisor. So take a look at those 4 problems. Pause your video, solve them, and come on back when you're ready. So if we take a look at the first problem, we have 180 and 32 hundredths divided by 9 and 8 tenths. So if we were to estimate for that, we would probably say 18,032 divided by 98. So if you do an estimate method, do that, get your answer, decide where to place your decimal. We would place that decimal between the 8 and the 4. So right there. If we take a look at number 2, we have 168 and 75 hundredths divided by 2 and 5 tenths. So again, if we're going to estimate, we're going to treat that like a number without a decimal point. Go ahead and do our division, or you could round that number, right? So if we take 16,875, we could round it to 20,000 divided by 3. So if you do it that way, think about what your answer is going to be, and then place your decimal. So in that particular problem, our decimal point is going to be between the 7 and the 5. If we look at our third one, we have 900 divided by 0.125. Notice there's no decimal point in either one of those, and we got an answer of 72. So in this instance, it's a little bit more difficult. We actually have to place the decimal in the 0.125, right? And it's going to be between the 2 and the 5. Kind of up in the air there, but you get the idea. And then our last one, we have 80 and 6 tenths divided by, and we have to figure out where the decimal is going to go in the 0080 to get a quotient of 175 hundredths. So we would most likely place that decimal right before the 8 to be able to get that answer. So just a little practice with decimals and division there. So your math message today is going to involve a couple of different pages in your student math journal. You'll notice that I have page 305 listed and 308. So 305 is a page from the last lesson that looks like this, because you're eventually going to need to use some of that data today in today's lesson. And then, of course, 308 is the top of this page right here, which is where our math message is located. So basically what we're going to do for the math message today, it says write the data from the table on journal page 305 as ordered pairs. So you're going to take your information from this journal page, you're going to write them as ordered pairs here. Use the numbers of jumping jacks as the X coordinates and the numbers of heartbeats in 15 seconds as the Y coordinates. Then graph the points on the grid. Use a straight edge to connect the points in order. So once again, you're going to take your data from page 305. You're going to make the ordered pairs here from that data. Then you're going to plot the data here in this coordinate grid. Once you get that plotted, you connect all your dots, take a straight edge, draw your line, and then question number 2 says use the graph to predict how many times your heart would beat in 15 seconds after you did 25 jumping jacks. So again, you're going to use this graph to help you make that prediction for number 2. So our lesson today is entitled Finding Your Cardiac Output. and it's all about graphing and analyzing data. The reason we're doing this lesson today is to be able to accurately multiply and divide whole numbers and decimals to solve real-world problems. And how we're going to do that is we're going to use multiple steps to solve problems related to our hearts and exercise. We're also going to graph data and analyze results. So if we take a look here, I want you to be sure to make sure that you're using the number of beats in 15 seconds as the y coordinate. So make sure that you did that up here in your math message. And then we're going to calculate your target heart rate. So you should have completed this math message portion of page 308, and now you're ready to take a look at number 3 here. And it says, when you exercise, you should be careful not to put too much stress on your heart. Exercise experts often recommend a target heart rate for exercise. A person's target heart rate varies depending on the person's age and health, but the following rule is sometimes used to find a target heart rate in beats per minute. So here is that little formula. Subtract your age from 220, multiply the result by 2, then divide by 3. So that's going to give you an idea what your target heart rate is. So you're basically going to write a number model here with a letter to show how you used that rule to get your target heart rate. Then you're going to find your target heart rate, and that's going to be beats per minute. And then that is equal to how many heartbeats in 15 seconds. And did you reach your target heart rate when you did your jumping jacks? And don't forget to explain how you know that. On your next page, which should be 309 in your student math journal, take a look at the top. It says the amount of blood your heart pumps in 1 minute is called your cardiac output. To find your cardiac output, you can multiply your heart rate by the amount of blood your heart pumps with each heartbeat. So they're going to give you another little formula here. Cardiac output equals heart rate times amount of blood pumped with each heartbeat. Because cardiac output depends on a person's heart rate, it is not the same at all times. The more the heart beats in 1 minute, the more blood is pumped throughout the body. Follow these directions to find your cardiac output before and after exercise. So basically, they're going to give you some directions here, tell you to look at your data that you just used on page 305 in the last lesson. In the third column of the table below, write the number of times your heart beat in 15 seconds after 0 jumping jacks and after 50 jumping jacks. So notice they've placed the 0 and the 50 already in your table. So you're going to be figuring out the 15 seconds, 1 minute, and figuring out the cardiac output. Number 2, use your answers in problem 1 to figure out how many times your heart would beat in 1 minute after 0 jumping jacks and after 50 jumping jacks. This is your heart rate before and after exercise. Write your answers in the 4th column. Then 3, the heart of a typical 5th grader pumps 1.6 fluid ounces of blood with each heartbeat. Use the information to find your cardiac output before and after exercise. Record your cardiac output in the last column there in the table. Now, if we take a look down here at the bottom, our calculations are going to get a little bit more complex. There's going to be more steps. So over here on the left of your screen, problems 4A and 4C will take multiple steps. Just a reminder, you're going to want to record your intermediate steps as follows. So 1 day is equal to 24 hours. 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. So 24 hours equals 24 times 60 minutes, which equals 1,440 minutes. And then down below, you're going to have 1 gallon equals 4 quarts, and 1 quart is equal to 2 pints. So 4 quarts is equal to 4 times 2 pints, which equals 8 pints. So basically, I'm laying out for you how you're going to need to kind of explain and show your work as you go to solve these problems down here at the bottom, because they're wanting you to calculate this part. Like, should be easy, right? Fill in the blank. 1 day equals blank minutes. If you did not exercise, about how many fluid ounces of blood would your heart pump in 1 day? So again, you're not just going to fill this in. You're going to have to show some work. So you might need to attach a sheet of paper when you go to turn in your work along with your workbook pages, because I'm sure this is not enough space for you to show all of those wonderful math calculations that I know you're going to complete. So that is a preview and some highlights of what you need to pay attention to on those 2 pages that you'll be doing. So let's summarize. We can calculate our target heart rates to determine how exercise affects the heart. Graphing and analyzing data allows us to see patterns and trends as we exercise. Until next time, bye.